today we're going to fix this faucet. This is a single-handed faucet, and you can see that it's falling apart. The handle came off, and we're going to replace it. It's going to look like this. It's going to function like it was new again. This particular faucet is a Moen, and this is actually the Moen Indi. And these are all the parts that go into the handle. All these parts and links to these parts can be found in the description. Moen guarantees their faucets for life, and if they determine that it's broken due to regular usage, they will send you these parts, and that's where I got these parts. I did get it from Moen. Even if you don't have a Moen faucet, check your manufacturer's website and see what kind of warranty they have. One more note is that these instructions will work on most single-handed faucets, but here you can see the parts that we have. We have the handle. You can see the number on there for the part number. Here we have the cartridge, and then finally we have the dome cover. These are the parts that we're going to need to fix this Moen single-handed faucet. So let's go. The first thing you obviously want to do is turn off the water. You don't want to work on the faucet while the water is on, because the water will go everywhere. So I did remove the handle that was there, and now I'm going to proceed to remove the cartridge nut that holds the cartridge in place. And right about now, I'm about to make a huge mistake. I want to leave this mistake here so you don't do the same thing I'm doing. As you can see, to tighten the cartridge nut, you go to the right. To remove it, you go to the left. Well, for some reason, when I started doing this, I started to remove the cartridge nut, but I'm going to the right and I'm actually tightening it and not loosening it. And this is not good. The other issue is the channel locks that I'm using. It's very rough. It's got that teeth, and that's going to go ahead and bite into that plastic part. And really, you should just be using an adjustable wrench like I have here. I am going to fast forward this part, but by the time I realized that I used a channel lock instead of a wrench, and then I'm going in the wrong direction, I've completely stripped out the cartridge cover, and I actually had to use an oscillating tool to remove it. So don't do what I did and make an easy job that much more complicated. By the time I'm done, you can see I completely stripped out that cartridge nut. I did eventually get the cartridge nut removed. It was a lot harder doing it this way. And here you can see the actual cartridge itself, and it's all beat up and broken. Hopefully you do it the right way and yours comes out whole, but you can see the mess that I have here. So remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty, and hopefully your cartridge doesn't come out like this. It comes out in one piece, and it's much easier for you. Here you can see the new dome cover. You can see that the tabs are there. They're intact. And then on the old one, they're completely gone. And from just regular usage, these parts start falling apart. And I suspect that a lot of these manufacturers that make single-handed faucets are having these issues. Here you see the cartridge nut, and it's supposed to look like this. Obviously, mine was destroyed. And here you have the actual cartridge itself. And these are the parts that we're going to use in order to fix our single-handle faucet. This mixer here is very important. This is what mixes the hot and cold and gets that mixture just right. And also, this is where the handle attaches. So what I like to do is I like to use a little bit of silicone grease on some of the rubber parts. This is optional and you don't have to use the silicone grease, but I like to use the silicone grease on some of the rubber parts. Here I'm going to use it on the cartridge nut, and basically I like to use it because it prevents buildup, removes squeaking, and it just really preserves that rubber piece if it's a plastic nut like this, or if it's an O-ring. I just like to use it. Again, it's optional. It's up to you. Now that we have removed everything and we lubricated it, the only thing to do is put it back together. And the first thing we're going to do is put the cartridge back. The cartridge has these little fins, and the faucet itself, the body of the faucet, has these slots. So the cartridge can only go in one way. So what you're going to do is when you put the cartridge in there, just wiggle a little bit until the fins fall into the grooves, and it's going to slide right in there like it just did. Once that's there, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and put the cartridge nut. You can see this is the cartridge nut that we put the silicone grease on there. And of course, you want to do righty-tighty, and you want to go ahead and use an adjustable wrench here, something that's delicate, that's not going to go ahead and destroy that plastic piece. So you're going to go ahead and turn it to the right until it's somewhat tight. You don't want to over tighten it, but you want to make sure that it's tight and it's in there and the cartridge is secure by the cartridge nut. Now that we have that out of the way, what we're going to do is we're going to place the dome over the cartridge nut. And this is what hides the cartridge nut, what hides that plastic piece. And then once that's in there, once the dome is in there, we're going to go ahead and put the handle on there. Now the handle only fits one way. Once the handle goes on there, the handle gets secure with the set screw. Now this is the same set screw that you need to remove in order to take out the handle and replace the handle. Oftentimes with these faucets, what you're going to see is that you're going to constantly try to tighten that set screw because the handle is loose, and over time, no matter what you do with the set screw, the handle is always going to become loose. It starts to crack the dome like you saw on mine, and eventually you're going to have to replace the whole thing. A little tip here is you want to go ahead and put the set screw on the handle and then bring the handle over to the faucet and then use the Allen wrench to go ahead and tighten that set screw so the handle stays in place. You can see from doing all this work that my faucet pretty much is moving all around. I actually have to go under the cabinets and retighten the faucet. You might have to do this, you might not. Now that we complete the replacement of the parts, we're going to go ahead and turn the water back on. And as you can see, when I turned it back on, it was working fine, then it stopped working. So it turns out that during installation, some of the particles from the screen must have been loose and blocked some of the water flow. So I went ahead and cleaned it. And you can access this screen just by removing the wand like I did here. I cleaned it, put the screen back on, and then I screwed the wand back on the hose. Sometimes when you're fixing something, you inadvertently cause other problems, but it is what it is. You just have to deal with it and fix it. So as you can see here, I screwed the wand back on there, and now I got the flow back just by cleaning that screen, and everything was working fine. You can see that the handle moves like it was brand new, like from day one. It's just really unfortunate that these single-handed faucets from Moen have this issue where you have to replace the handle, and the handle just doesn't last that long. But again, they do guarantee it, so it is what it is. Don't forget, part links are in the description for this particular Moen faucet and for other single-handed faucets. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, put a like, comment, subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.